America's job market has gone through many changes, but the one thing that stays consistent is the competitive nature of finding and keeping a job. While finding work may sound easy, the steps leading up to landing a job require more than just a little luck or being in the right place at the right time. When the opportunity presents itself, you have to be prepared to present yourself well in an interview setting. To help you be successful in your job search, we've put together tips and best practice ideas to help you get ready for your job interview. In this video, you'll learn about various job interview methods, what to expect, and what to avoid in order to get that job offer. Once you've been notified that an employer wants to talk to you about a position you've applied for, first, do your happy dance, but then buckle down to prepare yourself well for acing the interview. An extremely helpful tip is to try and get the person who booked your interview to tell you as much as possible about the circumstances of the interview. We don't mean just verifying the address and time of the interview. Try and discover the name and title of the person who will be interviewing you. Find out if there will be more than one person. Get their names and titles as well. How long should you expect to be there? What will the setting be? Will it be an in-person interview, a group interview, a video chat interview? The more you know ahead of time, the better prepared you will be.
First off is research, research, research. Research where you're going to be applying for, what type of company, what the company standards are, and understand the mission statement of that company. Know that information before you ever walk in that door for an interview.
Attack your interview much like you would a research project. Learn about the company by going to their website. You can gain a great deal of information from their About Us, company history, and Our Clients pages. For example, learning how departments are organized, facts about the company, and the clients they serve will give you the appearance of being a sharp, on-the-ball professional. Employers could easily see you as a valuable member of their team. Use LinkedIn to not only learn about the company itself, but the people you will be interviewing with as well. Other sources to check are Google, Wikipedia, Twitter, Facebook, Hoovers, Glassdoor, Morningstar, and if the company publishes an annual report, it will offer a wealth of information.
Prepare. Actually prepare. Actually sit down and think through, here's the job description. I've done research on the company. I know what the company's services and products are. I know what this position needs to do for this organization, and go prepared with the specific skills, specific knowledge and accomplishments so you can prove to that employer that I really can get this done because I've had this skill, I've developed these capabilities, and I can use it for you.
I played soccer in college and I was a captain there, and so I would put some of the things I was like, leader. I helped team on and off the field, and it helped through academics and through getting myself, persistence. I get it. Being a student athlete is exhausting, so it just kind of carries over. I let them know that even though I'm going to be tired, work's going to get done.
The transferable skills in terms of, I've developed products for the automotive industry and managed projects for the automotive industry, but now all of those skills that it takes to manage the program or products or project is transferable over here to the healthcare industry. I'm not building cars anymore. Now I'm helping you within the healthcare environment to develop new products, to work with clients or individuals in regards to those new products. So there's just all these specific skills that can transfer over into a new industry.
Human resource and hiring managers are finding that the traditional job interview is simply not identifying the best candidates for open positions and are using a variety of interview techniques. In order for you to get a competitive edge and land the job you want, you'll need to be prepared to meet the challenges of these different types of interviews. The telephone screen, the video approach, the group interview, the gaming test. Before an in-person interview, employers often use a screening technique by way of a phone interview. Here are some of the top tips for handling a phone interview. Set an appointment. If you're called out of the blue by an employer who wants to chat with you and conduct a telephone screen right then and there, explain that the timing is not ideal for you and ask politely to make an appointment for this conversation. Handling it this way allows you to prepare for the call when you're focused and in a quiet environment. You'll be able to have any pertinent materials in front of you to refer to and give the interview your full attention.
But it should be a very courteous, and both of you are looking at each other to think, okay, do I really want to work for this company? Are they professional? Is this the environment I want to work in? And they're looking at you the same way.
Listen to yourself. Try to keep in mind how you sound on the other end of the line. Usually the call will be with someone in human resources asking fairly basic questions to learn about your personality, communication skills, and salary requirements. Although it can be challenging to sell yourself on the phone, try to project energy, confidence, and competence on the phone. Deliberately inject enthusiasm in your voice. Stand up to keep your energy level high. And make sure to smile while you're talking. It comes across on the other end. Don't rush yourself. You'll be tempted to explain everything about your career, skills, and background. But keep in mind that this is an initial screening. If you get past this stage, there will be time to explain more. Breathe and take your cue from the interviewer. It's similar to a first date. Be pleasant, conversational, and be prepared to explain everything on your resume, including why you left each job and your salary expectations. The flip side of the telephone interview is the video approach. It's similar in nature to the telephone screen and in how you prepare for it. But the added component of the visual element can often create added pressure. Here's how to deal with on-camera jitters. Most video interviews are conducted through Skype, and you'll want to make sure you have a professional username and profile picture. Also, looks do matter. Wear business attire, just as if you were participating in an in-person interview. Keep your eyes on the prize. During the interview, always look into the camera. Avoid shifting your eyes. Practice beforehand with a test run interview with a friend and ask for a critique. Sit across from a window so there's a light source on you. Keep the background simple. Consider taping your resume and any key bullet points to a wall just beyond the camera. Practice referring to them without being too obvious. The group interview is another technique employers use to find the right employee. You may find yourself with other candidates and asked to perform a group exercise that may or may not be pertinent to the position. For example, you may be asked to prepare a collaborative report or participate in a meet and greet activity, and then tasked with providing an oral presentation on your findings. Whatever the activity, you can bet you will be observed about how you interact with others, as well as your communication and leadership skills. The gaming test. This is a newer interview technique, but is proving itself to be very helpful to employers in understanding how a prospective job seeker might perform in a variety of circumstances. Employers are finding that they're better able to measure a candidate's skill level, personality traits, and gain strong predictors as to how successful a job seeker will be in fitting in well with their company. More likely than not, you'll have traditional in-person interviews, and most likely it will be the final stage before you're hired. We'll spend the rest of our time getting you ready for that face-to-face meeting. After you've completed your research, you need to prepare yourself both mentally and physically to make a good impression on the employer. In the days and weeks before the interview, consider yourself in training. You should, of course, eat healthily and get your required level of sleep. Think about how your skills and interests fit the needs of the employer. Don't forget that the skills you have amassed in your work life may not be the specific industry which you are interviewing in, but may be transferable skills which you can link to this employer's line of business.
You really have to be able to talk about yourself. You have to know your skills, your capabilities, knowledge that you have, and accomplishments that you've had, that's of value to the employer. You have to be able to talk about that.
Some strategies that I think are really effective in setting yourself apart is know that the employer is going to give you good information about what they're looking for on the job. So when you're looking at the job description, pay attention to what is important to them, and then state those job requirements and then tell them how you qualify for those jobs. If you are automatically saying, hey, I have these qualifications and more, and this is what I can do for you and what I can accomplish from you, that's going to really spark the interest of the employer.
Next, prepare a list of potential interview questions likely to be asked by the employer. For example, here are some standard questions. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Why are you interested in working for this company? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? Why do you want to leave your current company? Why was there a gap in your employment? Tell me about an accomplishment you are most proud of. What are your salary requirements? Give a time when you went above and beyond the requirements for a project. Keep in mind that each question you are asked in an interview setting centers around one thing. Convince me that I should hire you. In order for you to convince them that you are the right hire, you need to know what the company's needs and wants are, or what their pain points are. What challenges does the company face, and how can your skills address those needs? Try to identify the main skills needed and frame your responses around them. To find this information, review the in-depth job description or the company's Twitter feed or Facebook page if they have one. Remember that each question is your opportunity to show them how your skills and qualifications can fit in and help solve their needs. It's a very good idea to prepare a few workplace experience stories that show your accomplishments or describe a tough situation and how you successfully dealt with it. Ideally, you will want to work these stories into your answers consistently. Practicing your responses to your list of interview questions is key. Practice them out loud. Enlist friends and family members to rehearse mock interviews with you afterward to identify any weak areas. This will give you confidence and help you improve your presentation. On the subject of how to dress for your interview, you should know that appearance plays a big role in a hiring manager's first impression of you. And impressions are made during those first few moments. Your research should give you a good idea of the company's dress code. You should match your clothing to fit in with the organization's culture. If in doubt, call the receptionist and ask about the dress code. Above all, make sure you feel confident in your outfit and that your grooming is impeccable. On the night before your interview, prepare your clothing and any items you plan to take with you, like copies of your resume or work samples. Map your route to the interview. On the day of your interview, you can bet you will be dealing with nervousness. So this is one area where your preparation and practice sessions will pay off by helping to alleviate any overly anxious feelings. But you can expect to be nervous. Try not to show it during the interview. Always allow yourself extra time to get to the interview. You'll want to get to the location 10 to 15 minutes early, so you'll have plenty of time to gather your thoughts and be able to walk in the company's door a few minutes early. When you meet people at the organization, smile, introduce yourself, extend your hand for a friendly but firm handshake. Try to relax and remember to breathe. Keep in mind the interview is a two-way street. The employer will have questions for you, of course, but it's also an opportunity for you to ask a question or two to discover if it would be a good fit for you. Find out why the position is open. Ask a general question about the company's culture. You might even ask the hiring manager what she or he likes best about the company. A few final things to avoid. Avoid appearing overconfident or acting like a know-it-all. It won't get you the job, and people don't like to work with those who seem arrogant. If you have negative feelings about your current or a past employer, keep them to yourself. Avoid using slang or excessive or as you speak. Avoid being aloof. It will not make you look like you are in demand or help in negotiations. Employers want employees who want them. Keep a high level of energy and let them know you want the job. As the interview ends, make sure to deliver a powerful summary statement about why you believe you are a good fit for the position. Emphasize the specific skills you possess that address the company's needs and wants. Repeat your interest in the position and let the employer know you will be following up with them soon, based on any parameters they gave you earlier during the interview. Thank them for their time in meeting with you.
Following up with the employer after the interview starts in the interview. At the end of the interview, you need to ask, when will I hear back from you? Is there anything else I can do for you? May I get in touch with you if I have an additional question? And try to get a specific time period that you'll get a final status.
You have to listen to what the employer tells you. Some of them are very specific and want to make sure that you follow their guidelines. If they say, don't contact me, I'll contact you, honor that.
If they said, well, you should hear from us within 2 weeks, give them the 2 weeks because they're going through a process, a series of candidates. But then yes, absolutely, you'll send an email. If it's appropriate, you can use the telephone. And I say that you continue to follow up until you have what I call that final status.
But one thing that you can do is you can send a thank you note. A thank you note is not really saying, hey, I'm following up, but what it does do, it allows you the opportunity to get your name in front of them again, allows them to think about you, and also is telling them that you also are one that will follow through.
A job interview can be a nerve-wracking experience, but if you prepare yourself well with the tips and information we've shared with you, you'll take much of the stress off your shoulders and possibly enjoy at least a portion of the experience. It's not always as simple as it seems to convince an employer to hire you during the interview process, but job search experts agree that research, practice, and good preparation will help you present yourself in the best way possible. Good luck!